Okay, so I have a Jeep. It's a 2024 Jeep Wrangler, and I'm gonna flat tow it behind a Ford SuperDuty, and I'm gonna discuss the problems with doing this. First thing I want to tell you is that on the Jeep, what I've done is on the front, I've installed a RockJock Toebar installation. Now this by far is the best installation you can buy for a 2024 Jeep. It's a solid piece of metal. What I've got here is a Ready Brute tow bar, and you can kind of see that it slips into the hitch. All right, it's all set up, and this RockJock tow system uses kind of a Blue Ox system here for hooking up. I've used this for years, but this is a brand new vehicle, and this RockJock system that I bought fit like a glove. Now let me explain something about this Jeep. It has the worn winch and the steel bumper package. So when you order that RockJock, you have to order it for a steel bumper. Now, let me go to what I installed was a Jeep tow harness, factory tow harness. And here's the trick. Okay, so in the past on the Jeeps that I've had, I've used a Cooltech wiring harness. But on this one, I used the Mopar flat tow harness. And I'm gonna tell you my trick, because if you follow the Mopar instructions, you're gonna spend all day doing it. What I did was I combined kind of what Cooltech did on the JK that I used to have. So the back harness, and this is not an instructional video where I'm going to show you everything, I'm just going to kind of explain it to you. So the harness runs between the driver's side light and the passenger light. And then in the middle is a license plate light. Now, here's tip number one. You don't have to remove the bumper to hook up the license plate light on the Mopar wiring harness. The instructions tell you to go to bumper removal. It ain't telling you to go to removing the bumper. What you're gonna do is, this is a plastic cover right here. That's plastic. You're just gonna get some trim tools, and around this outside edge, you're gonna pull that plastic cover off. You're gonna pop it off. It takes a little bit of effort, but it pops off. It's on clips. Then you're gonna be able to access the wiring harness to that LED light. You don't have to pull the bumper off. I've heard people online having to pull the bumper off, and that'd be a waste of time. Then, second tip is I didn't remove all the wheel well liners, all right? Especially up here in the front. In the kit, they give you a whole bunch of rivets to, you gotta take this off. Didn't do that. What I did was, inside the frame, there's a hole on the opposite side of that shock. So I ran a snake, and I'm gonna show you, right there in this hole, that hole right there, that hole, I ran a snake, and my wire's coming out right here. You can just barely see it. I put that snake all the way back, and I fished the existing Mopar harness through the frame. So between wiring up the lights, fishing the Mopar harness through the frame, and then installing this plug which you have to take the air box out. I have 3 hours into that. But you have to do the tips. The third tip is the wiring diagram on this side of this plug. Be very careful. Use this plug that's already wired, the female plug, to wire the male plug. Do not follow the wiring diagram on the male plug in the instructions or you get it all screwed up. You want to make sure black wire goes to black wire, red wire goes to red wire, green wire goes to green wire, so forth and so on. Now, next tip, Ford trucks from like 2015 up, when you plug this harness in, it is not going to recognize the Jeep, because Ford, in their infinite wisdom, put a bunch of computers inside the truck that are connected up to a module, a trailer tow module. Is connected up to an advanced backup system. It's just a bunch of BS. I took it to the Ford dealer and asked them to tell me how you do this. And I can plug it into that trailer right there, that EBY trailer, and that trailer works perfectly off that 7-way plug. But here's the trick. Once you make sure that all your wiring rings out, and you come up here to where that fuse block is at, from the black wire, which is the battery charging wire, you need to run a wire from black to positive, so that that truck, it only recognizes when it's plugged into a trailer if the trailer has a battery. Go figure. Again, everything, it'll be real frustrating. So that's the whole purpose of this video, is really just gotta tell you that these Super Duties, and if you try to flat tow a Jeep, the Ford dealer says, oh, well, you have to have the ground from the trailer going to the truck. No, you don't. What you have to do is here on the black wire that's in the back of that fuse block, you got to connect up a wire to the battery. The truck only understands to give 12-volt power from that truck to this Jeep by seeing a battery. So that's what this is doing. And let me show you how it all works. So my lovely assistant is going to turn on, Dee, let me have brake lights. Here's the brake lights. Okay, left turn signal. Left turn signal. Right turn signal. Right turn signal. Let me have lights, running lights. Let's see how that license plate light lights right up. Let me have flashers. Here's the flashers. The factory tow harness is really, it's $400 and something, but it truly is a better harness than the Cooltech harness. You get what you pay for. I've had 2 or 3 Cooltech harnesses, they're nice. But on this particular vehicle, there's a lot of chism bop you have to do on the Cooltech harness to make it work. What I liked about the Cooltech harness, it told me to run the wires through the frame. So I borrowed that on this Jeep, ran the wires through the frame on the other side, so you don't have to take everything apart like on the instructions. You can shut the flashers off, Dee. So again, this is just a real quick video, just to kind of cover, all right, what I'll end up doing. On the past Jeeps, I've used a Ready Brute system that is a manual brake controller, let's say, where I got to snake a bunch of cables through the firewall and attach them to the brake pedal in the Jeep. On this system, I'll probably put a regular electronic brake controller in. And for that controller, that blue wire right there is where you would connect up a brake controller that would sit on the floor and, you know, push on the brakes electronically. It would get its signal from this wire and a ground. But the main purpose, what I want to show you here, is that there's tricks. The only way using a Ford SuperDuty, this is an anomaly, this is just for Ford owners, is to put a wire right here and jumper it over to the positive battery terminal, and then that truck will recognize that there is a Jeep being towed behind it. It's pretty sad that Ford would put that kind of complexity into what's supposed to be a tow vehicle. But it, again, the harness, the Mopar harness, and I'll put some references there, is the better harness than the Cooltech harness, because you're not drilling a toggle switch into the passenger side seat. The new Mopar wiring harness diagram, rather than tearing apart the interior, has you pulling the inner fender wheels off both and running it and clipping it, wire tying it to the top of the frame. And rather than do that, I ran the wire harness in the frame by putting a fish back there, electric fish, and then bringing the harness all the way up into that hole, and then pushing the harness, snaking it out, and it comes out right here. You just have, they give you just enough harness that you can do that. And so I'll get this all prettied up and stuff, but that's just, I just wanted to share with you the tip on how to make this truck, which has two computers for the tow system, understand that it has a Jeep behind it. And then what I've done with this 2024 Jeep to tow it. A RockJock plate. I'm still using my old Ready Brute that I use when I'm towing behind that bus right there, and then using the Mopar harness. And I think you'll like the installation. It's pretty clean. Don't follow the installation instructions. If you want to save some time, kind of listen to what I said and do that, and you'll save a lot of time putting this wiring harness in. But the most important thing is for a SuperDuty truck, you have to jump a red wire to the black wire that's right in there to the positive terminal, and then the system will understand that there's a Jeep behind there, and you'll get all your turn signals and flashers and brake lights and that sort of thing. Anyways, thanks for watching and listening. I know this is a quick video, but just if anybody out there needs some help, this might help them.